Morning, guys. Today I'm starting my video log of my life. One of the reasons why I wanted to be more of a public figure and help people get healthy and speak out against things and hold people accountable for the wrongdoings that they do in their life is because of my childhood and how I was raised and the mistreatment of children that we don't get to see, and there just aren't enough people out there that want to talk out about it. And this is a way for you to get a little closer to me, and I'm just gonna do little 5-minute segments here and there, nothing too crazy. I had a very, very abusive childhood, and to set the scenario up for you to keep you interested so you know where this is going, and this is going to take a while for me to get there. I think it's time for me to open up about it, but whenever I went to the police about what happened to me as a child, they had found $4.5 million worth of cocaine in the house that I lived in, $250,000 worth of marijuana, tens of thousands of dollars worth of cash, weapons galore, hundreds of sex tapes that this woman had recorded with many different men, and found out that I had been out of school for almost 2.5-3 years when she lied to the school and told them that my father was taking me to Michigan to live there, and the school never did their job to check up on it. So basically, I was a slave to her. There were weekends where I was locked in rooms for entire weekends, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, before she would come back and try to do some of her daily adult chores and be a mother, which never happened. I raised 2 infants on my own, by myself, cleaning the house by myself, doing the laundry by myself, cooking dinner for an entire family by myself at 10 years old, going and paying the bills by myself at 10 years old. They would put the money on the table on top of the bill. It was my job to get it taken care of and get the receipt put right back in the same spot in all the change at 10 years old. That was my job. That was my task. Not only was it to take care of the family and make sure that I was running a family at 10 years old, but to take care of the responsibility of having the bills paid and stuff as well. Go get the mail, go pay the landlord the rent check. They didn't want to be seen by people. They didn't want to have anything to do with people. So at an early age, I experienced what it was like to be an adult very, very, very early. And the responsibility of what it was like to take care of a family very early. And I'm talking full-blown changing diapers, mixing formula, taking the kids to school, walking the 2 other kids that she had by my uncle, walking them to school and making sure they walked in the school and they got in properly without screwing around outside. I'm talking full-blown doing what an adult would have done is what I was doing at 10 years old. So my mother was 20 years old when she had me, and my grandmother and grandfather basically thought it would be a great idea to go take her to court and get custody of me. But meanwhile, my father was having a rocky relationship with my mother, and she was letting people in the house that he didn't know. So he'd come home from work and he's like, "What are you doing letting these people in here all the time? I don't even know who these people are." It'd be nice as the man of the house to get to know the people that are hanging out in my house. And she would never respect that. She would allow these people to come into the house, and my dad didn't know what her intentions were, if she was screwing around with people or whatever it was. So my dad he said, "Look, I loved your mother. It just got to the point where I couldn't trust her anymore, so I had to leave. I was done." I went back down to Alabama and left Illinois, and I started my own life down there. But little did I know, a couple months later, she calls me up and says, "I'm pregnant, and you're the only guy that I've been with for 6+ months." Well, he said, when you get ready to have the baby, I'll come up there early and I'll help you take care of the child, and get, help you through the birth and stuff like that. And then I'm going back to my life. I'll pay child support and I'll take care of my son and stuff like that, but I don't want anything to do with you after the way you've been acting, and you just don't want to change. So my dad went on about his life. She lets him know after the suspected birth date that I died at birth. There was no reason to come up here. So my dad lived his whole young adult life with me being his first child devastated until my sister came about years down the road, which I didn't know about. I didn't find out about my father until I was 25 years old, 24 years old in the military, and my uncle had called me up, which I'd never met my uncle before either. I was in the service, and he found me on Facebook, and he got a hold of me, and he said, I'm a bounty hunter. I chase fugitives across the United States, and even outside of the United States. I could find your father. I've been in touch with him, and he's a little shocked right now, so give it some time. I told him that you were not dead, and that you are very alive, and you're in the service, and you're serving this country, and he was proud of you because he was in the Army also, but he was shell-shocked for so long because he didn't know if I was going to come after him for something, money, whatever it is, going that long without somebody that you thought was dead, and then finding out that you were lied to. It was a shock. It was a big shock. And then my uncle put me in touch with my Aunt Rosie, my great Aunt Rosie. Started talking to her, and then I started finding out all about all this family in Louisiana that I'd never met before. And it was surreal. I started going and meeting family and stuff like that, and my life started feeling a little bit more complete each day. Back to when I was a child, that was just a little sidestep, just to set things up for you. My grandparents got custody of me. My sister wasn't taken care of very well a year later when they got custody of her. My grandmother, I think it was my grandmother, from what I remember correctly, my grandmother passed away first. And then my grandfather passed away. And they're trying to figure out who's going to get custody of me and my sister. The family's kind of fighting over us. They're wanting to do, my Uncle Mel's wanting to do the right thing. Other family members are wanting to do the right thing. But there were certain family members that saw that Social Security money from my grandfather that was supposed to be coming in. They saw dollar signs. Well, nobody really had, a wife and husband team going on. So my uncle at the time, I think he was either married to the woman that I ended up calling my mom, or he was the only one with somebody female-wise to be a mother figure. They ended up getting custody of us. And we lived in Mount Vernon, Illinois, in a little small country town. There wasn't many people there at all. And in the beginning, it was all right. We'd go fishing and hang out with each other out, playing outside the house and stuff like that. Chase the dog around and dress the dog up in dog clothes. And me and my sister were like best friends. I would sit down in the classroom, even though she was older than me, and she would be the teacher and I would be the student. And I loved my sister. My sister meant everything in the world to me. I felt like I was inseparable to her. I mean, she was just my buddy. Well, we started taking these weekends where we would go into Wendy's or McDonald's, and we would meet this couple there that was dressed really nice. Really nice. Very nice, well-spoken, very educated people. All I can remember is how nice and kind they were. These weekends kept coming, and these weekends kept coming, and they kept coming. And finally, by the third or fourth weekend, we had showed up to meet these people one weekend, and they took my sister. They took her. Put her in their car, and they left. And I was devastated. I wanted to cry my eyes out every single day. It ripped my world apart. Took the only thing I really cared about away from me. Just took her. Gone. Anyway, that's the first 10 minutes. I said I was only going to do 5. Maybe I'll just do 10-minute segments. So, that's a little bit about me to start with. I'll make little ones throughout the day and little ones throughout the next couple of weeks and stuff. I want people to learn about me. I want to tell my story. I want to spread the abuse and stuff that children do have to go through that people don't even realize, or maybe they just don't even want to realize. Anyway, I'll come back at you guys later with some more information. I want to tell my story, and I think this is going to help me heal. And I want to tell people why Jesus Christ is so important to me, and why I feel like God has been a part of my life. Even though people are not believers, I think if they heard my story, they may be a little bit more keen to opening up to having a personal relationship with the big man upstairs, and learning what life's really about, and learning that there is a higher power than just this open atmosphere, that nothing is over us. There's no higher power. It's just the world. I just want to share my story. I love Jesus Christ. I was baptized in the middle of a war zone just to reestablish my faith with the big man upstairs, and it's kind of ironic that I got to do that in the middle of Iraq, in a war zone, baptized in the name of the Father. Yeah. All right, guys. That's just part 1.